Where did this idea come from? Is this a new thing where guys are going around to different schools, or where did this come from?
Well, really just an organizational idea where just really felt like it was important to make a connection and also make an impact. And there's different ways that we do that as an organization. This being, to me, the most straightforward way of giving our players an opportunity to get out in the community at local schools, to take their helmets off and let these students and student athletes, in some cases, see them in their faces and make that connection, and maybe someone somewhere says, hey, I can be that, I can be just like them. They're here at an arm's length away or closer at times, and I applaud our players as well for sharing some of their stories and their life journey of when they were growing up and being in the same position some of these students are as well.
What were some of the questions or answers that you really enjoyed hearing?
I thought the students did a tremendous job of having well-prepared questions that we even ask ourselves on a day-to-day basis, right? How do you handle setbacks? How do you handle if you're not getting the attention that you think you should get as a high school athlete and you want to get recruited? How do I get recruited? And just some real life questions, right? So very authentic, very well thought through ahead of time, and very impressed by the students here and the athletes that were in the gymnasium this morning.
It looked like a fun mix of different positions, different age groups from the players, of just like getting guys really well rounded to get different views. Why was that important to have like such a mixed background of players?
Right, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Matt Warswick and the many people in our building that have helped with this. Andy Major's here. There's a number of players at other schools and other staff, a number of staff members at other schools helping as well. This has been in the plans for a month or so now, and to be able to do this again, it doesn't happen by itself. So I'll start there, but just overall to have the mix of players, offense and defense, young and veteran players, to share their stories, because things change a little bit, but as much as they change, they stay the same in terms of what we as people, just as people, deal with on a day-to-day basis.
What do you think your players are going to take away from it, or what are you hoping they'll take away from today?
Well, like I said, one is the connection with our fan base, with these students, and trying to make a lasting impact. And if we do that with just one, then we've made an impact. And so hopefully we can do it with many more than just one. But I hope that we can go back tomorrow, talk about this a little bit, and see what they learned through it. And I got to believe that a big piece of this is them learning from the students and some of the questions that they're asking of our players of, hey, they're going through the same thing that we even go through. So I think it's mutually beneficial here for both sides.
There's so many ways you guys could have spent your time today, even if it were, completely outside of the schools. Why was this so important?
Well, again, and I'll applaud our players. They've put in really intentional and focused work to this point in the off season. We had 2 practice days, as you well know, and now it's a chance for us to get out. Believe me, they worked out this morning before they came. That was a piece of this also, so that we can continue with the momentum that they've already built to this point. But having said all that, this is important, right? Keeping perspective on things is important, counting our blessings and being grateful for what we have, and then again, making that connection.
The group you had here was definitely some newer guys. Did you learn anything from their answers?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a chance for, as you said, some of the newer guys to our team, veteran or younger for that matter. And I was able to sit and listen. I didn't really have to answer any questions. So it was good to hear some of their responses. And again, well done by our players that were here, and I'm just very impressed overall how they handled it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I was just going to say, what do you think an event like this says about the Buffalo community?
Well, it's unique. I've said that from the time we came here as a family, and to see the connection, right, of our team with our fan base, it's unique. There's a lot of passionate fan bases around the NFL, don't get me wrong, but Buffalo, to me, is as unique as there is, right? The passion of our fans, you see it in the student athletes here this morning, and again, just making that connection that was already there, but putting, again, these students in the same room so they can look at our players and say, hey, I can become that maybe someday if I do the right thing.